Hello my gamers, it's Onion Creature, and today I'm in Dragon Quest World. Look at all the green hills, or whatever is in Dragon Quest. I don't know, I've never played it. Hey look, it's special guest star Merlin. There's a reason he's wearing a shirt. I swear it's not for my own amusement, purely. He will itch his belly. That was our Merlin moment for April 2024. I'm here to talk about a movie today, not a video game, but a movie that is in fact related to a video game. That video game being Dragon Quest. I have not played a Dragon Quest. I'm aware that it exists by featuring artwork by acclaimed artist Akira Toriyama, who also did Dragon Ball and other things as well. Passed away recently, very sadly. But this is a movie that is adapting one of the Dragon Quest games into a movie format. And I watched it back, I think, in 2019. And then, just recently, I've gone back and rewatched it. It's on Netflix, a very convenient place to view it. And I was like, wow, you know, this is worth recommending to people because it's an interesting one. I think it's worth a watch. It's pretty unique. One of the reasons that this also came to my attention again was taking up some space in my brain, is that it is co-directed by one director who I'm not as familiar with, Ryuichi Yagi. Another co-director is Makoto Hanafusa, and the other co-director who worked on this project is Takashi Yamazaki, who you may be familiar with as the director of Godzilla Minus One, which released last year in theaters. It has not been released digitally yet, or on disc, waiting on that one. But anyway, that was a really great Godzilla movie. I think it's my favorite Godzilla movie that I've seen. Really successful project. Apparently it was a very low budget movie, but since the director had a background in visual effects filmmaking, I guess that was how they accomplished that, with a relatively small team and limited resources. Anyway, great movie. Recommend Godzilla Minus One. Definitely watch that if you get the chance. And so I was looking through some other things this director had made, and I was like, oh yeah, the Dragon Quest movie. I watched that. This movie is it's a bit of an enigma. We're starting to get a lot more video game movies, some of them animated, some of them live action. This one's unique in that it's a Japanese production, it's CGI animation, and it's adapting a whole ass JRPG video game into a 2-hour-ish movie, which is a bit of a feat to accomplish that. And I will tell you right now, I have no idea what happens in the video game that this movie is based on. I have not played any Dragon Quest, including the game this is based on, Dragon Quest V. So I really don't know if this is at all accurate. The impression I get is that it is somewhat, but basically it's the story of a character going on a fantasy adventure, and it has all the Dragon Quest things that you would expect, that I know as someone who is not a Dragon Quest fan, like the character designs. It has the slime. The slime's in there. I know what a slime is. It has all fun sorts of creatures, action, adventure, and of course it has the phenomenal Dragon Quest soundtrack. That's one thing I do know somewhat from, I don't know, Smash Bros. And I played the demo of Dragon Quest XI on Switch. Didn't play the full game, but I played like 3 hours or so of the demo. I think I got to where the demo cuts off. Pretty sure. So it has that amazing soundtrack. It uses it quite a lot, which is something I really enjoy seeing in video game movies. The main Dragon Quest theme that I recognize is used 3 times throughout the film, which is quite a lot. But I mean, hey, if it's that good, you might as well put it in there as much as possible. And that's something I also noticed in Godzilla Minus One, also by the same director, is that they were sure to use the familiar Godzilla theme in that movie, which is something that a lot of other Godzilla movies, especially the American ones, do not do very much. I think with these series, hearing the iconic music that is associated with it goes a long way, and is something you don't see sometimes, which is weird. So it has that great music, which actually does a lot of heavy lifting, but the movie also looks great. It has really stylish animation, clearly inspired by the original designs that, you know, you can tell it's a sort of Akira Toriyama type design, but, you know, done in a 3D style. But it looks nice. Probably not the, you know, the most groundbreaking animation you're ever going to see. The action is really good, and the story is engaging, but this is like, I guess it's a criticism, but this game covers so much ground so quickly. It's constantly jumping from scene to scene. Everything is pretty rushed. It's just like ping-ponging from action set piece to action set piece. So you don't get like a great feel for the characters. You kind of just get the basic characteristics, and then you're moving on in your journey. And yeah, so I'll just leave it at that for the spoiler-free section. And I'll say I recommend this movie. It's definitely not perfect, but it's a very interesting watch. It's an engaging one. I'm gonna assume that the story is more moving and powerful if you were to play it in video game form, just because it'll have breathing room, which this movie really doesn't. Since they're condensing so much. I mean, look at the How Long to Beat compared to the movie length. Like, this is kind of an impossible task to make everything fit perfectly in that runtime. But there you go. But anyway, check it out. It's on Netflix. I watched with subtitles, by the way, with the original Japanese voice acting. I can't vouch for the English one. I don't know if it's good or bad. I haven't watched it. But Netflix, easy to... Everyone has Netflix, right? Or some... very legal alternatives as well out there, I'm sure. Okay, but now is spoiler section, because I have another thing I want to talk about this. So spoilers, leave if you don't want spoilers. This movie has a utterly bizarre twist ending tacked on to the end. So you get to the end of the movie, the journey is coming to its end. There's the big battle with the final boss character, a big floating hand guy, and then the movie stops. A virus character is introduced who is who's the real villain, is this virus guy, and he's here to tell the main character that he's in a video game simulation in the future, because this movie takes place in the future when there's a VR like brain chip that puts you in Dragon Quest V world. And so this whole movie has been a player playing Dragon Quest V in a VR brain chip world. And the virus says, I was put in here by one of the rogue game creators because I hate people who play video games. He says basically, video game bad. They're not real. You got go get a life, you freak. And then the main character says, no, you were wrong. These characters are real to me, and this experience is real. It's meaningful. And then the Dragon Quest slime shows up and gives him the original Dragon Quest sword, and he kills the virus. Oh yeah, before that you get some flashbacks to the character playing the original Dragon Quest V as a wee lad, and so that's part of it being meaningful to him. And then he gets the original Dragon Quest sword by the slime, who is the antivirus the whole time. The slime Gutrud is his nickname, was an antivirus. And so he gives the character the sword that is from the Dragon Quest logo, and he kills the virus, and then the game ends, and that's the happy ending. So that was an interesting choice, certainly. When this came out, I remember seeing a lot of people saying that was a sticking point, that they really enjoyed the movie up until that point. But for me personally, I will say I think it elevates it slightly. I think it's a very strange choice. Perhaps it's that I don't have that much of a personal connection to this game. Seeing it take such a strange and unexpected turn at the last act was more forgivable to me, maybe. I like it. It's a bold choice, and I think it works. It really is out of left field, though, and kind of completely recontextualizes the whole rest of the movie. But I don't know, it's surprisingly emotionally effective. It kind of lands for me. Like, you know, video games are cool sometimes. That's the message, and it's one I tend to agree with. I can think of video games I've played that are important to me, and the characters feel real, and these are experiences that I'll take with me moving forward. So I can relate to that character. I think it works. I think it's kind of fun and interesting. But yeah, I can also see if someone wanted a more straightforward, just retelling of the game's story in a film format, that might be a disappointment. So I can certainly see that perspective, but for me, it's like, okay, they've taken this somewhat standard story, but tacked on something kind of crazy, kind of a little ridiculous, but kind of effective as well. So good going, guys. It reminded me of the director's other work that I've seen, or the co-director, I should say, Godzilla Minus One, and how emotionally effective that movie is. It gives me a little hints of that, I guess. Check out Dragon Quest: Your Story. What a strange one. It's on Netflix. Very easy to find it for most people, I'd imagine. Give it a go, maybe. Even if you aren't a Dragon Quest fan like myself, that might actually be, hey, maybe I'll play this game that's based on and say, wow, this movie sucks in comparison. Maybe I'll do that one day. I don't even know. I don't think I have a play. I don't think that game's on. If that game was on Switch, maybe I'd play it. Is it on Switch? Okay, not much else to say about this other than a movie recommendation. Not my favorite movie ever. Not an amazing one, but it's one that's pretty cool, pretty good, pretty fun watch, I'd say. Okay, this has been Onion Creature Film Recommendation for the month of April 2024. I'm going to leave. Thank you.